Yo, what's cracking YouTube? Just JK and welcome back to my channel for another GTA Online video. And in today's video we're going to be building the 2006 Subaru WRX from the movie Baby Driver. Now if any of you guys want to follow me on this build, it's going to be pretty simple. All you have to do is go to Benny's Original Motorworks, go and purchase yourself a carrying SULTAN for 12 grand, bring it back to Benny's and I'll show you how to do the rest. So you go my bros, as you pull into Benny's you'll see the carrying SULTAN is currently in the sports category. Right, before we go any further guys, I know that the Subaru from Baby Driver is a 4-door, and when I do this upgrade it's going to turn the carrying SULTAN into the RS version, which is then going to in turn change it to a 2-door. So that is going to be the con of this build in my opinion. I was going to keep it just the carrying SULTAN like this and take it into LS Customs and customise it, but when I took it in there for the little dry run I realised that on the hood options you get the air intake, but it's only a carbon air intake, and it looks absolute, well, it don't look dog shit, but it don't look nothing, it looks nothing like the Subaru from Baby Driver. So to do that I'm gonna have to turn it into the SULTAN RS so we can get the air intake without it having to be carbon. But unfortunately to be able to do that we're gonna have to sacrifice the rear doors on this vehicle. But you know, on the other hand, we do sacrifice the 2 rear doors, but then we gain so much more customization, which I think might help it, might hinder it. Not sure. We're going to see how it goes. I think it's going to be fucking sweet. But without any further ado, we are going to turn this into the SULTAN RS. So as you can see, when we do the upgrade, it's going to cost you $795,000. So if you are hard up on a little bit of cash and you don't want to do the upgrade, you can alternatively do this build in LS Customs. You just won't be able to get the right sort of intake hood for this car, for this build, which you need really for it to kind of look like the Subaru. I think it looks more like an Evo when you don't have the hood scoop. I don't know, it's weird because I think the SULTAN is kind of a mix of a Subaru and an Evo. You know, it's that mix and match sort of thing, and I think when you add certain things it looks more like the Subaru, and when you add other things it looks more like an Evo. But anyway, we are trying to make this into the 2006 Subaru WRX from Baby Driver, and I think the SULTAN RS is going to be the best option for this, so we are going to have to do the upgrade. Like I said, it's going to cost you $795,000, so we are going to do that, and as you can see we do lose the rear doors. But I don't think it's terrible. I really don't think it's terrible. I think it still looks pretty sweet, and yeah, I mean, it does look. I think the RS looks a lot better anyway, personally. But for this build, it is a shame that we've lost the rear doors. But we're going to take, we're going to take it on the chin. We're going to crack on. So to start with, as always, we're going to go 100% body armor. Then we're going to get the race brakes for the bumper, front bumper. I believe we're going to leave this stock because we don't want anything crazy. You start with a stock bumper, and then you move down to the custom splitter. It's pretty much identical, except for, the stock bumper's got the black trim around the bottom. Was that carbon maybe? And then when you go custom splitter, it changed it color coded. So that's what we want. So next move on to the rear bumper. I am going to be attaching the wide body extensions for this build. So you do want to grab the Street SPL in that case, because as you can see, it kind of makes the bumper look a little bit wider than the usual ones, because as you can see, there you go, it fits in quite nicely like that. But we want to grab a wide one so then we can have the arch extensions. So then we're going to move on to the chassis. Headlight trim, we are going to leave that as stock. We're going to skip the fog lights, the roof scoop as well, we're going to skip that. Also the doors, we're not going to change that. Roll cage, this is personal preference I think. You don't really need to go crazy with it. I think I'm just going to go and get the street half cage. So then we move on to the engine. For the engine block, like the cosmetic side of it, you just choose whatever the hell you want, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and just choose all these random bits and pieces to go in there. And then obviously once you've done that, you do want to get the level 4 engine upgrade. So next we've got the exhaust. Unfortunately the exhaust kind of moves to the side of the vehicle when you turn it into the RS, and I'm not a fan of it being there, to be fair, but I think the stock version of it is the best looking. I mean, when you go to these sorts of ones, I'm not a fan of them. I think they kind of look a bit strange. They don't really suit it in my opinion. So in that case I'm going to be leaving the exhaust stock. So we move on to the fenders. This is where we're going to purchase the wide body arches. So as you can see, the front arch is very similar to the Subaru WRX from the film. The rear one isn't so much because it's not overly wide, the Subaru from the film. But as you can see, when we get the RS version of the Sultan, you get these fucking crazy flared arches, as you can see right now, and I don't think that kind of goes with the feel or the vibe of the Subaru from the film. So we are going to get the arch extensions, because as you can see, it smooths it out a little bit and it don't make it look so bulbous around the arches of the wheels. And I think, yeah, I think that finishes off quite nicely. And as you can see, when you get the wide bumper as well, they snap together quite nice. So yeah, we're going to go with the wide body arch extensions. So let's move on to the grille. I don't think I'm going to change this either. Yeah, because the car from the film kind of looks pretty much stock. It doesn't look like there's any crazy modifications or customizations done to it, and it's got all its fucking grills in place. So yeah, we're going to leave the stock grille. So now we're going to move on to the hood. This is a very, very important part of the build. Like I said, this is the reason I didn't put the original Sultan in LS Customs, is because you couldn't get the right hood. So in that case, it's the one you are going to need is the scooped hood. When we change the colour or the respray, you'll see exactly what I mean. And the one in LS Customs, yeah, that's the one. That's the only one you can get in LS Customs for the original Sultan. And even though it's pretty much, well, it is pretty much identical, but it's in carbon, and you can't change the colour of that in LS Customs. That's why we need to change it to the RS version so we can get this bad boy. So that's what we're going to get, the scooped hood. So then we go to the interior. This is entirely up to you guys what you want to get for the interior. Personal preference and money. I mean, if you're rich, go for it, man. Go all out. Get what the fuck you want in here. You don't want the sun strip though. That's one thing you don't want. So the next category we are going to go to is the lights. You want to go to headlights and purchase the Xeon headlights. We're going to skip a neon kit for this build though. We do not need any neon kits. Same with liveries. We don't need any liveries for this build. So next we're going to move on to the respray. You want to go into primary colour and into metallic. Once you're in here, you want to go and purchase this garnet red. So once you purchase that, guys, you then want to go into the pearlescent and you want to go and find this midnight purple. So then we move on to the secondary colour. You also want to go into metallic and go and purchase the garnet red. So the next category you want to go into, guys, is the spoiler. Once in here, you want to then go and purchase the mid-level spoiler. So then after that, we do have the suspension. The car in the film seems quite high. It's not like an overly low vehicle. I think that might be a tad too low for it. It's a hard one. It's difficult. It's going to be personal preference, I think. Me personally, I think just lowered looks good. Lowered suspension actually looks good, so I'm going to go with that. Obviously, if you guys want to go competition suspension, it's entirely up to you. But me personally, I think stock's a little bit too high, but then lowered actually looks, you know, just about right. So yeah, I'm going to go with lowered. So then we go on to the transmission. You do want to get the super transmission, and for the turbo, obviously you want to get turbo tuning. Now for the wheels, guys, you want to go into wheel type and into sport. Standard stock rims, and then you want to go and find these S-Racer rims. Once you purchase them, you then want to go into the wheel colour, change them to carbon black. Whilst we're here, guys, you want to go into tyres and purchase the bulletproof tyres. And to finish off this build, as always, you want to go into windows and purchase the light smoke window tint. So you go, my bros, there is my variation of the 2006 Subaru WRX from the movie Baby Driver. And as always, I pull out of the fucking mod shop and it is fucking dark outside. And I apologise for that, because it doesn't show off its beauty. It really doesn't show off its beauty, and it's fucking kind of annoying when it does that. So I'm going to take it back inside, because I think we'll just go have a little look at it before I go outside and have a little drive around. I think personally this looks very, very close to the Subaru from the film. Obviously this looks a little bit more modified, a little bit more street, shall we say, than the one from the film, but that really can't be helped. The only reason I've gone for the wide body arches I've already explained is because when we change it to the RS, the Sultan RS, we get the flared arches, and I'm not a massive fan of that. I think that kind of ruins the look of the Subaru that we're trying to go for. So I think the wide body arches actually rectify that, and it makes it look a lot nicer. The reason, I'll go over again, the reason why I've changed it to the RS is because of the hood situation from LS Customs, because you can't get a red hood. That's just of what we need. We need the scoop, we need the air intake hood, and with the original Sultan they're only offering a carbon version of that. So I think overall, I think it looks okay, man. I think it looks fucking pretty sweet. Like I've already said through the video, this is a mix between a Subaru and an Evo. When you make certain changes to it, it looks more like a Subaru, and when you make other changes to it, I think it looks more like an Evo. But I think it's fucking sweet either way, man. I think it looks really good, you know. But as always, guys, you let me know what you think of this car build down in the comments below. It's always appreciated. If you did enjoy this motherfucking video, why not smash a motherfucking like? And if you haven't already, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel for more GTA 5 content? And until next time, guys, I'm out. Adios.